For many years, running to many centuries, this rodent called African crested rat, and the name crested rat stems from its ability to erect the hair on its body like a crest. Lived in Nairobi, particularly the western part of Nairobi and northern part of Nairobi, Limuru, Gigiri, Kangemi, currently Oresho, all the way to Westland. And Nairobi that time probably was just a few blocks and a few roads. When roads opened up, this is the first victim of road carnage. This rodent is unique compared to other rodents. It has got specialized hair which sucks in poison, and when it's faced with danger like a car, it will expose the hair so that what it perceives as a carnivorous animal will mouth the poison first, placed on the specialized hair on the body where I'm pointing. Well, the evolution of this kind of trick of an animal using poison is not new, but for Africa, this is the only vertebrate animal, the animal with vertebral column, that uses poison from plants to shield itself from danger. For millennia, Africans believe that this rat, as small as it is, can kill big animals as big as jackals or dogs. And many people believe that it's dangerous even to human being, believing it has got some poison from its blood or from saliva or from its body inside the body. We discovered this about 10 years ago, that this animal actually takes the poison from arrow poison plant, puts on its body, and so protects itself using the poison from plant. For millennia, Africans used to fight using arrow and spears, and they also hunt using the same. And to make this efficient, they would use poison from plants. The most popular one is called arrow poison plant. This plant has got poison that when it gets into your blood, it's transported to the body, it stops what we call sodium pump, and your heart will fail instantly, causing death. Where this animal learned this is not known, and that's what we are investigating right now. But this animal uses the arrow poison plant similar to humans. And in Nairobi, where urbanization in Nairobi opened up bushes where it was living, it became a victim of road carnage, and therefore its extinction as a population within Nairobi traces our history as Nairobians, expansion of urban center in Nairobi, causing the extinction of a special animal like this. The most unique thing about this animal is first biological, but second is historical, from the point of its extinction or killing by people as well as cars. It's a slow-moving animal. It's also slow in giving birth, and also uses plants that have been cleared from where people are currently building many blocks for residents, for offices, and roads for movement in urban centers. Nairobi was one of its main centers. Now we can't trace this animal unless you go all the way to Murang'a, you go all the way to Mau, you go all the way to Abadeas where you can find it. Maybe I take a minute to just describe the biological significance of this beautiful rodent. Of course, by its sheer size and coloration, many people would not appreciate that this is a rodent by its size of a rabbit. But compared to other rodents, it has got enlarged vertebra, the bone that stems from the tail going all the way to the head, and housing the nervous system that's spread across the body. It has got enlarged ones that is unique. You don't find it in any other rodent. The skull, as opposed to other rodents which should be lean or like any other mammals and very smooth, is armored, similar to what you'll find in some fish like catfish, for protection. Very recently, we found that the hair running on two sides of the column, this side and this side, are different from the hair we find in all other mammals. These specialized hair, which are brown in color, are typically concealed when it's moving or eating or just having social and good time. You cannot see them in this one. But immediately it spots danger. It parts the hair around it away and exposes this specialized hair. It's important for me to describe how this hair looks like. When we looked at them keenly under the microscope, these hairs are tubular. There's a tube inside each single hair. And within the tube, there are even tinier hair, which enables it to wick in, similar to how the lamps we typically use in Africa, originally before we had electricity and more technologically advanced lamps or lighting system. We used to have lamps where you have got a wick inside a tube, and it will wick the paraffin from the bottom of the tank of the lamp up to where it's going to flame. This has that kind of structure, and their purpose is to suck in the poison from African arrow poison plant. In science, we call it schimperi, Acokanthera schimperi, and it puts the poison mixed with saliva into the hair and closes it until there is danger. Unfortunately, for the population in Nairobi, the main danger was cars that was mushrooming that time, and when it moves slowly, puffs up, of course, the drivers who are unaware, they would just run over this animal. So most of what we have in our museum collection here are recoveries from road in Nairobi. And therefore, it underlines how urbanization can actually cannibalize animals without necessarily eating it as bushmeat. Beyond clearing the bushes where it was living, it was also a source of direct mortality for this rodent. Yet it carries a very important biological concept which we are carrying to technology of developing medicine. How does an animal like this take in a potent poison that Africans used to put on the blade of a spear, and by just getting into millimeters into an elephant's skin, it will cause a sudden death on an elephant? How does it survive the poison? That's the question that our current research project is looking at. And the preliminary answer is the animal has got a means within its system to detoxify. And more recently, we try to investigate how does the bacterial community, the fungal community in the animal gut, from the mouth to the anus, survive the poison. Because after chewing the poison and putting most of it on the skin, certain traces have to go into the alimentary canal. We discovered that while other rodents, which are eating grass or grains, ferment the food, what we call Hind fermentation, from the rear part of the alimentary canal. This special rodent we call juju rat actually does what we call foregut fermentation, meaning that it ferments the food in the front part of the alimentary canal. And the bacterial community that survive in there, some of them helps to detoxify the poison, breaking it down to components that cannot harm its circulatory system or cannot cause cardiac arrest. In ordinary life, this is how the rodent looks like, very beautiful. But keenly looking at the hair coloration, you do appreciate there's a black and white, which is mixed throughout the body, similar to what you'd see in porcupine. This kind of mimicry, one would want to believe that it just poses as thorny, like the thorny porcupine, but in real sense, under the skin is a poison that it exposes when it's facing danger. From its behavior to actual physiology of managing to contain the poison, we can get some lessons which we can take into medical research. and try to understand how we can manage cardiac arrest. Because the kind of poison we get in the plant, in certain quantities, we can be able to help people who have heart problems. So how this animal manages the poison lies the answer, how we can treat people who have got cardiac arrest. And I think by having series of collection across the country, it outlines our history of the museum, how we grew with Nairobi as the biggest city, as one of the biggest city in south of Sahara, as well as how Nairobi has expanded and excluded beautiful and animals with rich history and biology in the Nairobi environment. But by protecting the parks where this animal is, we still have a library of information that we can unravel to answer questions on biomedicine as well as conservation of our environment. And I think this is why we have to keep this for posterity. There are certain questions that we are yet to get to, and hopefully the generations coming will replace us and get those answers to help them live better with nature.